All right, my action research is over the effects of Dreambox on students' math fluency. I wanted to determine the impact that the fourth grade students' fluency had using Dreambox. I thought this would be a good way to provide them with other strategies to help them in the math classroom. Also, in a good way to give them additional drill and practice for especially those kids that are struggling. And it's also used throughout our school K-5 Dreambox school-wide. The purpose of this study is to help students be more successful in the math classroom, and the students that struggle often struggle with self-confidence and they get frustrated very easily. And I was hoping that this would give them more strategies in their toolbox, help them become more fluent, and I wanted to determine the impact that Dreambox had on their fluency. Some things I found in my literature review, increasing the amount of drill and practice is likely the best way to help them with their computation skills. Incremental rehearsal helps lead to better retention of facts, so better memorization of their facts. And using games to help build computation is one way to allow students to get more practice in a shorter amount of time, and the kids also enjoy doing games in the math classroom. 3 strategies that the students progress through in working on their computation skills are counting, reasoning, and mastery, so as they build through the grade levels. And although memorizing facts is a strategy, it's not the best way to obtain mastery of their facts. Math games also allow students to work with other students to help them make progress. And learning from their peers through math discussions, through math games, or through small groups helps them to feel more confident and have that confidence boost in the math classroom. All right, my research question is, what is the effect of implementing the computer-based program Dreambox on 4th grade students' math fluency? My reason for choosing Dreambox and math fluency is because I have a lot of kids who struggle with math fluency and they don't have basically the multiplication facts coming into 4th grade from 3rd grade. They struggle with their fluency, which also makes them struggle with other skills in the math classroom. So the more they have their skills memorized, the better they will do on other skills. Again, they lack the confidence on their computation, and I wanted to see how Dreambox would affect that fluency. In 4th grade, I have 50 4th grade students, ages 10 to 12, 24 males, 26 females. 4 students have an IEP for speech, 1 student has an IEP, and then I have 3 students that have a 504 plan. My methodology, instruments, and materials, I use the AIMSweb MComp math probes. They're given almost weekly, maybe every other week, in interventions for those struggling Tier 2, Tier 3 kids. But only the probes that are given at the 3 benchmarks will count towards the effects of Dreambox. And I also take end-modal notes through small groups and interventions to track those kids who are still not mastering their facts. Here's an example picture from Dreambox. This student is practicing multiplication facts. They do Dreambox at least 15 minutes a day. Some students have more time on Dreambox if they are one of our struggling kids or if they are one of our enrichment kids, because we use it for enrichment as well as interventions. So they might get more time depending on their schedule. And we also use it in the regular classroom because Dreambox works on not just that grade level skills, but it also can go back to 3rd and 2nd grade to master those skills, as well as work ahead for those kids who already are in Tier 1 for their fluency. Here's an example of the MComp math probe. You have your answer key here, and then you have your front and back MComp. The students have 8 minutes to complete this assessment, and each question you can't see very well, but it's worth a different amount of points. So it's not really about how many they get right or wrong, it's more about which questions they get right. They're worth more points and less points, but they don't get counted wrong if they're wrong. My data collection, I use the MComp math probe, which assesses fluency of their 4th grade math skills. The rubric determines their fluency score. And the students do this once a week in interventions, but only the benchmark scores count. And I take notes during small groups as well as interventions to track their progress. Here is just the spring baseline for the MComp. As you can see, the green bar is the well above average. That means students are scoring 66 points or above on the MComp, and that means they're well above the 4th grade level. The above average, which means they score 57 to 65, that means they're also above grade level, above 4th grade. The average category, which most of our 4th grade students typically score in, is 30 to 39 points. And then well below average would be 1 to 29 points. That would be they are not on a 4th grade level. This is my spring benchmark data from the MComp. I had 28% of kids falling in the well above average category, which means they are well above the 4th grade level in math fluency. I had 34 students that fell in the above average, so again, they are also above the 4th grade level. I had 26 students that fell into the average category, which means they are right on track in the 4th grade skills. 11% fell into the below average, so they are right below 4th grade level, maybe still on 3rd grade level skills. And then I had less than 1% of students that are falling into the well below average, or maybe still on a 1st or 2nd grade level. Here is one of the charts from the MComp AIMSWeb website. This chart shows the percentages from the fall, winter, and the spring. And as you can see, the green is the Tier 1 students who don't need interventions with math fluency. The yellow is your Tier 2 kids. They need some interventions, but they're close to being Tier 1. And then the Tier 3 obviously need your intense interventions. The green went down a little bit, yellow went down or went up a little bit, which is what we want to see, but we will keep practicing with those Tier 2 and Tier 3 kids. So do we have any next step questions, next step actions, discussions? Sure. So what can we do as our next steps?
Continue with Dreambox,
okay.
At least 20 minutes a day. Again, maybe push your Tier 2s, having extra above and beyond, you know, what they're already getting.
Right. So like in the mornings or.
Continue giving your probes for sure.
Right.
That's nice.
That's good.
Maybe give them a little more to those Tier 2 kids.
The interventions, yeah.
Do you give them weekly?
I try to, yeah. In the interventions, yeah. At least every other week I try.
Have you tried analyzing the rubrics to see exactly which computation skills they're missing? That might be a good next step.
Yeah. And see, I think a lot of my Tier 2 kids that are in that is because of the time. The time gets them. It's because they know their facts, they're just not as fast and as, right. Well, I mean, I think they're fluent. I think they're just slower test takers, and they're the same way the same kids that are on regular tests.
Yeah.
They just
maybe show your kids, like, you know, if you don't know it, don't sit on it.
Right,
skip it,
right.
And do like the ones you
because that'll kind of off. Right,
Because
right.
I told my kids that way they wouldn't get stuck and they had more time to get points in other questions.
Right.
Ways to attack the test.
Right.
Yeah.
So test strategy, right. Those are all great. Anything else?
I think that's a good couple of
All right.
steps.
Well, we'll type those in. All right, my reflection, this gave me meaningful feedback about student progression throughout the year as they take their benchmark ones as well as their weekly ones. I could see which students actually had their facts memorized and which students were actually really fluent and which students still are not. It helped me differentiate my small groups as well as my intervention groups. And it allowed me to see if students lacked progression as the time went on, whether it was for a time limit or if they just truly did not know their facts. Part 2 is my PLC focus question. And I chose what strengths and challenges do the Trust on Our Team survey reveal about the Nancy Elementary 3rd through 5th grade math committee PLC group. So our survey was the Trust survey. On our PLC we have 4 members, our curriculum specialist. We have our 3rd grade math teacher, 4th grade math teacher, and 5th grade math teacher. The trust survey is 1 page. It was used to determine because trust is important on a team and was the most relevant to our PLC group. The survey gave information about the amount of trust we have on our team as well as how well we work together as a math committee. And 3 members completed the survey. There's an example of what you also did the survey. So you have your questions and then you had disagree, neutral, and agree. And then you also ranked how important those questions were to our team. I gave a copy of the survey to each PLC member. We only meet once a month for the math PLC. They put it on their own time and was told it was anonymous. It would not be tracked with their name. And all members brought their surveys back to me for analysis. The trust survey used a scale of disagree, neutral, and agree for how you ranked that question. And then also a scale of 1 to 3 about how important that question was to our team and to our PLC. There were 16 questions, and for each question you had to choose the D, N, or A, and then the 1, 2, or 3 for each question. So these first 3 questions, 1 through 3, talked about sharing resources with each other for math and feeling welcome in classrooms before, after, and during the school hours. As you can see, question 1, we definitely feel great about the sharing resources. 2 and 3 were a little lower on the importance of that. We didn't feel like it was very important whether we felt really welcome at the end or beginning of the day, because it really didn't relate to math concepts. 5, 6, 7, and 8 were about interactions with colleagues and students and honesty among our colleagues, among our PLC group. 100% of the colleagues felt very important and very strongly, and that we do this well, so some of our strengths. Questions 10, 11, and 12 were about sharing results with colleagues, and colleagues are competent and capable of doing their job, and everyone contributes equally. Where we're not on the same team, it really didn't apply as much to us, but we do all teach the same content in different grade levels. So as you can see, question 10, we all agreed and thought it was very important that we share results with colleagues. Question 11 was a little different in importance, and then question 12 was 100% both ways. Another strength was questions 13, 15, and 16. With like our team as a math committee is all going in the same direction. We want our kids to score well on the K-Prep, on the MAP, and to make improvements throughout the year. And we felt like our team celebrated success, whether it's personal or professional, as well as the accomplishments we have. 100% agreed with those and felt like they were both very important. However, question 16, I think it was about the personal and professional success. We felt like it wasn't very important, as well as more important as the resources and going in some direction. 3 of our weaknesses that we had on our survey was about sharing colleagues being in our classroom during instruction time and sharing student learning results. I feel like because a couple of us don't have as much experience, we might not feel as comfortable being in other teachers' classrooms, maybe feeling intimidated, and then sharing learning results if we get maybe a bad score or a lot of our kids don't perform very well. It'd be kind of intimidating to share those results out versus if they're really scoring well. The next steps could be grade level teachers will talk about the ways they can feel more comfortable sharing their learning results, whether they're good or bad, and make time to be in each other's classrooms a few times a year to gain new ideas as well as strategies and to give constructive feedback about how they're teaching. This allowed me to see the level of trust we have on our math PLC team, which I thought was very high. All members were honest. Our next steps will allow teachers across the school to rate their PLC team's level of trust, so we can maybe do this as a grade level survey in each team to see if we get the same result on our grade level, not just about just a math committee. And the results showed our math PLC, we work well together, and we have a high level of trust and respect for each other as teachers. And that's all.
Okay.